open a cold one, kick back, and enjoy a week's worth of conversation from pop culture, sports, breaking news, and everything in between. Welcome to the Pine Room Podcast. At the beginning of the podcast each week, everyone on the show rolls a 20-sided die. The person who rolls the lowest number then becomes the moderator for that week's show, and it's their job to move the conversation along and switch from various topics or questions that can be found on the moderator's cheat sheet, or custom ones they've brought in themselves. If you have a question or a topic you'd like us to discuss, send us an email to contact@thepineroompodcast.com. Well, that's enough of that. Let's get into the show. You're listening to the Pine Room Podcast.
All right, hello everybody. I wanted to say this the last time I started, but we're back. We're back.
We back.
Episode 115 here at the Pine Room Studio. To my right, I have a guy by the name of Jub Delbrook, Chris Pavlik, Matthew Watson, and myself, Jeff Doyle. Good afternoon, fellas. How's everybody doing?
Hi, Jeff. You look good today.
Well,
you look spry. You're wearing the white.
Yeah, the viewers are probably wondering why he's not in business casual attire. Well, Jeff's got a vacation week, so
yes,
doing some home improvements, and it's good to have him enjoy a cocktail and relaxing with the wife. Big post one game tonight.
Yes.
I don't know if you can see it. It's probably not on camera. If you're just listening, go watch this right now. I don't think you can see it, but there's just the very top of a beverage here.
It'll make it into the picture at some
There
point.
it is.
Make that a little bit easier.
Yeah, there it is.
There you go.
Broken our company policy. No drinking.
Yeah, right.
yeah.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
who said that, Coach?
Oh, no.
Yeah,
No,
that's
no,
Coach's
yeah,
policy.
yeah.
We don't drink. We're all serious.
I think
all
this
business.
building in general is very
There's been a lot of
friendly.
beers in this.
I was going to say. Yeah. And actually, who's
What's
the
our
eight-
size? 10 by 10? Whatever it
10
is.
by 10, yeah.
10 by 10 office. We drank a hell of a lot of tin in here.
Yeah.
Who's the HR representative that's going to slap my hand?
Lola. Lola, she's very anti-booze.
Yeah, she hates beer.
Need to make sure that I don't actually cross paths. It makes me nervous a little bit.
Yeah.
Jeez,
Well, Jeff, you did well enough your first hosting job that you were asked to come back and host the second.
Yeah.
job.
Hey, there we go.
You did
I guess.
well, buddy.
Well,
like-
I appreciate that very much so.
Yeah.
I tell you what, it's a beautiful day out here in Welland, West by God,
Whelan.
Virginia.
It is nice.
Yeah, it is nice. Not
Boy,
too bad.
I for the first time I was sitting in the office and it actually feels it's kind of cool in here because the AC
It feels good.
The AC has been like off forever, but the AC was on in here and I said I'm going to go sit outside and get a little warmth out there.
Oh, that's
First time in a long
wow,
time that I've done
okay.
that.
That's a rarity for you.
I know. I love the cold, but I have no way to be warm in here other than going outside.
I'm the same way. Sometimes I get tired of like being in my car all the time, and it's super cold or in the house. I like to go outside and just feel some heat.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Just go out and just stand in the sun. I'm not out there for hours on end. I'm not going to sunbathe, but I'll go out there like a little solar battery. I just need a little boost. That's all I need.
There's something to that, though. I tell you what, it just feels good on the body when you're a little bit frigid, whether because the AC inside or whatever. But going outside and getting that vitamin D on the face, like Jub is doing right now, you need one of those old school like 10 things.
like a foil, yeah, hit me in the face. I'd never been, for the first time in Ocean City was the first time I ever laid out in the sun, and I didn't take my clothes off, but it's the first time I just laid.
That'd have been really cool if you took off all your clothes and said for the first time, fuck it, I'm just letting it go in. Let's
Swinging for the fences.
Are there nude beaches in Ocean City?
No, it's a
probably
family.
say no.
It's a family town. We don't even have strip clubs.
Jarrett wound up not on a nude beach, but he ended up on a gay beach.
Ooh.
He took
Where?
a
Did he
picture.
go to Rehoboth?
I don't know what he did, but he took a picture. He drove his car up onto the beach, which I don't know how you can even do that. But he drove the car up and took a nice picture. And on Snapchat, you can scroll. And
Is this down in Florida? Or
yeah,
something?
and if you scroll, it has the location that you can. Like if I took a picture right now and scrolled to the left, it would say Wheeling, West Virginia, or downtown Wheeling.
Came up gay beach.
Well, it came up with something gay beach, and Jarrett, or no, it just came up with the name, and then if you click on it, it comes up to the location. The first thing is gay beach, and so Jarrett posts that picture with him in his car, with a nice picture of his car and him, and then if people click on it, it goes to gay beach.
Gay beach.
Yeah, and he didn't even have it. He had no idea.
I know that technology wouldn't have been around 20 years ago, but can you imagine 20 years ago somebody identifying a beach as being the gay beach?
Gay beach.
That's very interesting.
I don't know what makes the beach gay, but I mean, if that's your thing,
Maybe it's the people.
Yeah, I would assume.
Yeah, you know what? That's probably a fair statement.
But even still, I mean, what are you gonna? What do you do? What's different?
I don't understand that. Now the nude beach and top, which not something that I'm participating in, but at least it's a different thing. Like, there's no reason why. Like, the 2 umbrellas down, if there's 2 dudes there that are gay, I'm not noticing it. I don't care.
Yeah.
So, like, they're not bothering me. I'm not going to bother them. So I don't understand why they have to have their own area.
As long as they're not playing fucking music, it's 1,000 decibels, and they're throwing shit around and hitting my tent. More the merrier. I like when a beach is full. I like when people.
What about a sword fight? Like, if you'd see a sword fight, would you be a little
I might be worried about that.
I'd say just take it into the water.
Maybe that's what they're able to do there. Sword fights.
Maybe that's the identification.
Maybe that's what's going on.
Chris, I saw a documentary, and they were showing the most dangerous beaches in the world. And there was a beach in Hawaii that nobody goes in because the rip current is so hard that takes you out. But the waves were gigantic.
No, that scares me.
But I thought you like a good wave.
What?
Not the most violent ones.
You don't want like a 40-foot wave?
No.
There might be tsunamis coming with that. There's
hurricane?
a volcano that's starting to bubble up.
Yes.
In Hawaii right now, it's had like 500 tremors already.
Yeah.
So we might be in a tsunami warning out there on the Pacific coast.
Good thing we live on a hill.
Being one of those.
Oh,
well, that whole ring of fire from down along Japan all the way down through Asia and then all the way back up to the western United States. I mean, it's a dangerous area.
Have you ever seen footage of a tsunami where they'll be on the
Sucks
beach
out.
and all the water goes out?
crazy.
But then people don't know and they run out into the beach like, ha, this is cool. There's no water here. I'd be running the other way so fast.
They put all those new tsunami warnings in a lot of those countries because of what all the way down Malaysia, Indonesia. They have like protocols. It's like mandatory. If you are staying at a hotel, you have to follow. They play the siren. You have an exit route. And but you're right. In the smaller areas, people don't know anything. They don't know. They've never seen it on lesser inhabited places. People were going out there, and then that's it.
Well, that one in Japan that was a couple years ago. That people just got mauled over because they probably hadn't experienced such a thing in a while. But Japan, they get the rough hand of weather.
Yeah, they have the most. Probably they're the most accustomed to having tsunamis of anybody. Actually, obviously, it's a Japanese word, tsunami. Yeah. So they definitely are used to it.
Right?
Yeah,
and they seem like they suffer the most devastation.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I mean, just
definitely.
wipe. I mean, the body count. And
tsunamis, they have hurricanes that hit them. Godzilla.
Yeah, right.
Not
to mention you got to deal with him. Yeah,
that's bad.
Mothra.
Yeah. I'm not going there. I'm just not going to go.
I'd love to go there, but I would not want to stay. I'd be checking the weather reports before I go, and I'm going into the city. I'm not going out. There's a fly in here. Jub, is that fast fly we talked about today?
Have you guys ever been caught up in anything in the ocean that is? I'm sure we've talked about this before, but have you guys ever been that moment where like, oh man, this is kind of different?
I had some rip currents when I was younger, but I actually like. To me, it was really stupid of me, really stupid. But like you're like a late teenage person, you think you're real smart, and you're like, oh, I'm already a good swimmer. This isn't going to bother me at all. And it got never where I was panicked because my dad had kind of taught me what to do. Mm-hmm. But like if you didn't have anybody that told you what you were doing out there, I mean, it was like it's almost like you're getting sucked into like a chamber. Like it's weird that the amount of pressure that's on you when you're trying to break that hold to try to get in to the shore, and you're like trying as hard as you can
you can do.
Get, and you're like you're powerless. You have that shore's so close. It could be where that desk is.
And you could even have your feet in the sand.
Yes, you could be standing up, and in which you're doing a lot of the time because I was obviously kind of tall, so I wasn't like I was going under, but like it's like, man, so then you got to start angling, and you got to start slowly figuring out how you're going to figure out a way to get in, and as long as you don't panic, you'll be fine. But when you wear yourself out and you're not a good swimmer, that's when it's over.
Well, yeah, because then you try to swim against it, then you're done, and then out you go. My dad once, believe it or not, he had a few on the beach. And he went out.
We know this story is definitely starting off false.
right. That sounds unbelievable already.
Fact check, yeah. No, but he went out, and the waves are pretty hard, and they were crushing just like.
Is this in Florida?
One after another. I think it might have been in Myrtle Beach because it was for a baseball thing, but. One after another, these waves are just boom, 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 and we were playing in them, having fun. But he was hammering. I think he had to go pee, so we went out in the water like chest deep. And actually, it might have been even that. It might have been waist deep. But these waves started hitting him, and he couldn't get up. He would get hit go down, hit, go down, hit, go down. And then eventually, like, you're going to run out of gas and just get pulled out into the wave. So Jeff Wilkinson, who was there at the time, Coach Wilk, he's 6'6" and huge. He's built
Big
like
dude.
a tank.
Yeah, it's like a pro wrestler.
He stomped out of the water, and it looked like a movie. Like, he went out to his knees and just reached down and grabbed my dad by, like, the scruff and pulled him up. It was unbelievable, and then walked him back to the shore. But it was one of that time where it's like, if he was by himself there, he's done.
Fucked.
He's finished because he couldn't get up, and he was just going to get sucked out into the water. And you
Probably
see how
going further out too.
Oh yeah, and then you realize how, like, if a parent, some neglectful parent leaves their kid out to just go play in the water.
It's like that boy in Jaws.
Yeah,
He's out there and
he
he got eaten.
Never saw him again.
Do you guys ever get, minus the riptides and stuff like that, like get literally kind of like on those lines, get pounded by a wave? Like, I know one time I literally got pounded and it pushed me up against the ocean floor, man. And if I actually would have hit a little bit differently, I may have been having some neck issues and stuff like that. Like, in it, literally, I got up and I was like, I just got hit by a fucking linebacker in the NFL. Like, didn't know, got to get my faculties again. Like, you guys ever
100% had that face full of sand, like almost like, my God. And you see, like, in videos or movies or something where, like, somebody will go down in and they'll hit their head on a rock or something. It'll be, and, like, you're thinking like that. And not even that it was a rough surface, but that sand and the shells grinding up against your face. And it's like you get a mouthful of water and you're like, oh, where am I? Am I going to die? Like, and then you're right. It takes you a minute. It's like, did I get a concussion? Like, it is. It's incredible how powerful the water really is. Water's just something to behold.
Because you think about how you jump in the water and everybody thinks it's all soft. You jump in, even close to the shore. Jump in, dive in. But I've same thing. I got my head smashed up against the sand, and that sand's not soft. I mean, if you get hit hard, it's like
it's very abrasive.
Yeah, you get hit hard, and like you said, if you're under it, you get disoriented and not know which way's up, and then even getting up is not fun. But
not at all. But actually, one last thing about the ocean. I think we've discussed this before, but that shower. That shower at the end of that ocean day when you go up and you get that fresh clean water hitting you and stuff, there's just something. And then you throw in one of those in the shower with you.
Oh yeah.
Do you feel
life is really fucking good?
Do you like the feeling afterwards of being cool, clean, and you put a new fresh pair of clothes
just
on?
A big difference, man. It is.
Sit in the AC for a little bit.
Right?
Now, are you of the variety that you get your shower after a beach day, you get your shower, you get out clean, and then do you hang around the condo or the beach house or the hotel room, and then you just drink and you're good?
No.
Or are you you're going to drink and then you go out
Going
to
out
eat?
to dinner.
Without a doubt. We're very big on late dinners at the beach.
Right.
And actually don't want to have a whole bunch of structure, but at the end of the day, you try to set something aside on a time frame just so it's not completely a lost day. But definitely get up somewhat early, get down to the beach, spend the whole day at the beach, come up, exactly do what you say from a standpoint, fresh shower, fresh and clean. Don't get your clothes on to go out to dinner, sit around for about an hour or two, maybe have a couple cocktails, and then overlook whatever, and then it's dinner time. Yeah.
What's your favorite what's your favorite meal at the beach?
Just because obviously I'm definitely a seafood guy, so you can't get much of that around.
Yeah.
You can get it around here, but it's not as good as obviously the beach. So hands down, something on those lines. But it doesn't need to be that 7 days a week by no means.
Are you a Matt, like a raw oysters, like that kind of?
I don't think
seafood?
I'm as. I think he's probably a little bit. His taste buds are a little bit better than mine when
Advanced.
it comes to the extravagance. But I will try anything.
Yeah.
But I probably wouldn't be able to go toe to toe with you.
I don't know anybody of my friends or family that eats oysters anymore. My dad doesn't eat them as much as he used to. My friend Kevin doesn't because he had an allergic reaction to them. So I'm like the last one.
But I love that stuff. But I think you're probably a little bit more open minded than
Chris,
I am.
do you eat oysters?
No.
He would do clams probably. Most people, oysters are not for everybody. They look like hell. They look terrible, and they're weird
they taste
texture.
really good.
Yeah,
They're awesome to shoot with. You've had oyster shooters before, haven't you?
Yeah.
And you chugged that thing down. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Where
did
was that at?
I was in Georgia. I was down there in Alpharetta, Georgia, where I did that one time. And then, then you got an order of fried oysters.
Yeah, I like those.
Yeah, those are all
I
right.
tried it. I mean, I'll try anything, but I'm not going to order them on my own. I don't.
Hey,
but I do like seafood, but not so much.
We crushed those mussels.
Oh, those things are delightful.
100%.
You like
That,
that?
we should have got
for
two
sure.
of those.
Like garlic, butter,
They
mussels.
were only $13 a plate.
That's a good value over there at Bull on the Beach.
Yeah, it was really
Good God.
Hey, and back to something before we switched from the beach talk. You say your dad went out and he had to pee out in the water. How much urine do you think you swallowed from the ocean in your life?
Oh, God.
Well, I mean, it's what everybody does.
Yeah, I mean, it's salty.
The
At least
only,
it's salted.
the only hope you got to have is that it's so diluted that it doesn't get to you. But you, for sure,
It is
have touched somebody's.
It's better than
pee.
fresh water these days. That's more danger in fresh water now than salt.
We went.
Wow,
So
hot.
my first experience was in Deep Creek Lake. Was just recently, and it was the first lake I've ever been in. And it was for the first time that I could get in water, and I wouldn't have the burn and the taste of. And it was really off-putting. It was really weird. But like that, we had to pee, and like there's nowhere to go out there, so we just put the boat in neutral, get off on the back of the ladder, go, get back in the boat, and keep going. There's just something I don't know what. There's something I don't know.
Well, you don't like, and I think you said that when we were on vacation. You don't really like hanging at the beach, do you? Like,
No. It's and I'll tell you my main gripe is the sand. I don't like sand.
You don't like sand in your asshole.
Well, and I guess I'm okay with sand before the period I hate is getting into the water, then getting out of the water. I hate that. If I could, if there could be sand and then 50 yards of concrete and then the beach,
Okay,
I would
that's
love
fair,
that.
though.
Meaning
I think
you're
that's
wet
fair.
and it sticks all over you.
Yes,
Yeah, I
but
get
if
that.
I could get out of the water, be on concrete, dry off, then go to the sand. But then I get out of the water and get in the sand. I get it everywhere. It's in my socks and shoes and
Every hole you have.
It's like ears and. But I hate the sand. Dry sand, I love it. It's nice and warm and it feels good to lay on. But what's
it have to do? In all due respect, because obviously you have longer hair, so I've never had longer hair. Is that a pain in the dick too?
Yeah, and I'll tell you, after this wedding I have to be in, I'm gonna probably chop it off.
Are you really?
It's been the biggest pain in the dick. I never wear it down anymore because it's so long. But Hannah just trimmed it yesterday or Sunday night or Sunday evening.
What are we talking when you say trim?
Just like 2 inches off of it, like cut all my dead ends off. But it's ran its course.
I can't wait to see the new you.
It's
what is
time.
going to be the new you?
I think I'm gonna get like what you got going on, like just a little longer on the top, shorter on the sides.
Jeez, I'm not even going to recognize you.
I got to get rid of it.
What about
though.
the facial hair?
I'll keep that. I'll trim it up a little bit. If I get rid of this, though, I look disgusting.
What?
I look horrific without facial hair.
I don't know about that.
I'm telling you right now, I look horrific.
You're going to probably look like a little boy like I did.
Well, you at least, here's the thing, and here's the distinction I make between a face type like you. You have a long face. You have a longer face.
Okay.
My face is completely spherical. If I shave and cut my hair, there's a cartoon Caillou. I look exactly like Caillou if I shave everything off. I shaved my face my last year of college. I shaved my face just to see what I'd look like, and I was so disgusted with how I looked that I wore a hoodie like this to my online classes. I didn't show my face in my online classes because I was
bad?
I hated it.
I was trying to find a picture real quick of you without it because I don't know if I had one, but I feel like I did, and it'll take me
There's probably
days to
when
find.
I was probably 14, 15, 16 when I had short hair.
Because
before
I had
grew
a
it out.
picture of you. Actually, I got it right here. I got lucky. I found the right year, 2015.
Good scrolling, Matt.
Oh no!
So that's Jub and Jeff. I'll even put this. You can put it up to the camera. When we went to see The Force Awakens at the IMAX.
I didn't have facial hair.
You have the true definition, as do I. Unfortunately, there's benefits to having your shape of face and mine. I just look like a horse head, but like you do, you're gonna have the baby face, just like
It's horrible,
without a doubt.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
I see nothing wrong with that.
I don't see nothing wrong with it either. But
It's bad.
If you're not looking
I
like
look
15,
and the
but-
way I got sweats, double sweats, a hoodie and
It was
sweatpants.
freezing cold
And
out.
I look like I'm sick. I look like I have like
Sick?
I look
I
like
don't know
I'm
about
sick.
Jeez.
Like Matt. This is like Matt took me out for a movie.
definitely one of those make a wish.
Yeah, like I wanted to go see this movie, so Matt took me out for the evening, just as my last hoorah.
Now the best part about it is when unfortunately you have a baby face, and if you would probably at that time you maybe didn't have, well, you probably did, but no hair on your nuts, and you sound like a little girl talking.
Hi guys.
I used to get the phone calls back in the day before I hit the puberty, and people thought that I was a girl on the other end of the phone.
See, good for me. And which made me feel good is, and I know we're going on a tangent here, but when we used to have our home phone, I would always pick up the phone and I go hello, and everybody thinks I'm my dad, and that made me feel good because I felt like a grown
Mark.
man. Yeah,
there it is.
I go hello. I always do the hello, and then people always think I'm him, and I would have to explain who I was, but they always go, you sound exactly like your dad.
Jeff, I don't know if you remember, because I don't know how long you lived by Mark or how long it's been, but Matt remembers this.
I actually know exactly.
I know what you're going to say.
I know exactly where you're going with this.
When these guys used to have the buzz cuts.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I thought you were going somewhere else.
And the minute your hair got a little bit long, I mean, it's just funny how
once every 2 weeks,
zip it.
How his hair is now compared to when he wasn't allowed to grow it out. And it almost like back in the 70s or in the 60s when people were becoming hippies and letting their hair grow. Mark would, it would drive him nuts.
Yeah, once every 2 weeks.
What did you guys think he was going to say?
I thought he was going to say the phone in our garage.
100%. That's where I thought
that
you
would
were
ring
going.
roll out the whole neighborhood.
I remember. I could hear that. I remember that phone.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, in the garage.
I remember the phone being there.
Such a loud ring, and I would hear it from Cooley's house, who's lives 2 or 3 houses down, and I would hear somebody calling that house.
And then you would hear.
You could hear it at the firehouse. I feel
you'd hear about on the back end. Hello.
Hello. Yeah. Yeah. And funny thing about that phone, Hannah was over, and right behind that, it's in the garage, so there's just tools and shit on a wall that's all beat up. But my dad, before he had a contact book, would write numbers on the wall.
I remember that.
And he had there are hundreds of numbers on the wall from people that I know that probably are passed away now, that are on the wall just scrawled in different shops and stores, all kinds of numbers.
Actually, I'm gonna disagree with that. You know what that equals is debt. Somebody owed him fucking money.
Yeah, right.
Debt.
There's another one.
Hey, you just got done saying they may not be with us anymore. There's
Maybe
a fucking reason why
Yeah.
they weren't with us anymore. Well, you know what? Actually, you guys were talking about before we went on air about time, and you guys were saying about the fact of the matter of watching a clock. Or do you guys think that is hands down, is that in between our ears? Like, say back in the day when you would sit in a classroom, you knew the class would be 50 minutes long, and the more you watch the clock, the slower it would be. Do you think that is, obviously there's still 60 seconds in a minute, but do you think that is just in between your ears, or do you think that truly the more you pay attention to time, that it is in reverse speed?
Mental. I would say
definitely
mental.
But I think that the more you pay attention, the more it feels like that you've been here forever. Because I would look at the clock in classes I didn't want to be in or when I was tired, and it felt like I was sitting there for 30 minutes and 2 minutes on the clock passed, and that was hell on earth.
But just remember though how good you felt. The opposite, like if you took a while to look at it, and then you looked and there was only 10 minutes left.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, time's going fast.
Focusing on a paper or something or finishing problems, and you look up and you're almost done.
I don't have that problem much anymore as you get older, though. The time just goes fast all the time.
I wish it was the other way now.
I would agree.
And Jeff, in my mind, it seemed like, when you were younger, the weekends were the only thing that went fast. Yeah. Now the work week, like you said, Matt, all 7 days,
it is
just fly by.
The goods and the bads.
It is the goods and the bads.
Sunday used to be so depressing, especially in elementary, middle school. I used to be so depressed on Sundays. My parents would always get mad because I'd be I'd mope about this is it.
I remember. And Chris will remember this too, but back before Pine Room days when we had the basement bar.
Oh yeah,
and it would be Sunday night, and Chris sometimes would have to take Derek and Emily down to Elaine's house, and then he'd come back up maybe for a little bit. But man, once your mom or dad was like, "All right, it's time, let's go. We got to get upstairs, get ready for bed, it was like." Everybody's head dropped, and I remember you took it the worst because you definitely were like, "This is awful."
Because all I want to do is be up and
playing
party.
video games. Kierbo's there, we're having a good old time. D'Lo and Emily, and it's and the same thing for us. So it was like work, and it was I'd rather be you guys to have to go to school.
I think D'Lo equally despised school as much as I did because I hated school.
No, he was a good student, but he hated it, and I remember Matt because it was different because not different, but I don't know what time we would get to Mark's house, but we spent the good.
It was usually in NFL days.
Yeah,
it was more NFL back in those days.
I remember you
and
guys
then
were
once
watching.
the 4 o'clock games were over, then we turned on Greed.
Yes.
Lingo.
Yes.
And then you guys were playing that, what was that?
Rock band.
Rock band. And yeah, so then, because when the kids were that younger,
Right.
they had to get up and go to school, and that was depressing. And it's always depressing when you have to go back to work after vacation.
For sure. The worst, actually.
Yeah, it is.
The worst.
It's the worst.
So do you guys think, though, that's all wrapped around negative connotations, though? Because I agree with what you said, Matt, from a standpoint of, unfortunately, the older you get, time does fucking fly by. But I think I would attribute it to, so if you sat in a classroom, you were looking at the clock and like, fuck, this is in reverse speed. Sitting at work, if by chance you are a desk job and all you have is a clock to look at, it's reverse speed. I would also throw in probably working out. Like if you have the mindset where you don't want to work out that day,
Right.
I
It
feel like
drags.
time's fucking, like that 30 minutes or 45 to an hour is fucking horrible when you don't want to do it.
Yeah.
But like when you're in the mood for it, it's not as
It's
bad, and
easy.
it feels like it kind of goes
Well,
by
yeah,
fast.
Or if you're listening to something or you're watching something, if somewhere you had a TV or and you're on a bike or whatever, and if you get something interesting, then the time will go. But if you're like struggling to find anything and you're like, oh my God, this is dragging on forever. I don't like this as it is. I don't want to sit here right
Chris,
now.
you might be able to relate to this. Is when you go on a walk. There have been times when I forget my headphones, or I'll forget my phone like in the car, and I'll get started, and then I'll be like, shit, I don't have anything to listen to, and then I'll just keep checking my watch how far I am. It's like a quarter mile,
Right.
quarter mile,
Get
quarter
done.
mile, quarter mile.
Oh, yeah.
And it's the most miserable. But if you get good tunes on, you listen to maybe a show or something, you
Life's
just
good.
focus on that, and it's like the walk doesn't. It's like secondary to what you're paying
Right.
attention to.
If you get invested in something,
Yeah.
absolutely. And
100%.
just to piggyback off what you said about time, it just seems like to me, like these guys were just little kids. Your son, I feel like when the Pine Room was just starting up, I feel like Luke was still kind of a young kid. You were doing
100%.
pitching workouts with him, and now he's like a damn grown-up adult. He's like a college guy. He's like... I treat him as he's like an equal now. Like as far not that you know what I'm saying. Like he's like a grown up.
Without
Like
a doubt.
it's totally
There's no
different, and that
conversations.
transformation just happens so quickly.
It does, and that is so true, and it's actually very scary if you want to know the truth. But I agree with you; it is funny on how, just from a Luke side of things, like not that we would ever hide a conversation around Luke because he was even when he was first around, but like you're right, like there would be nothing that you wouldn't say in front of him now.
Yeah, now it's
it
just
is what it is.
he's one of the guys. Like he
somebody-
kind of always was, but then some things you would say, like I remember even Chris or somebody would be like, "Oh yeah, we may not want to say that in front of him," like just out of politeness for you guys. Like
appreciate
it. Say it, somebody
some
go-
people don't want their kids subjected
Yeah.
to our smut
and I
peddling
was
we
always
do.
respectful with it because I remember way back in the day when my brother used to cuss in front of all the kids. He did like
The little girls
my,
and
Yeah,
stuff.
it
my
just-
favorite time ever.
and then
He had no sense of
Ever.
And that's how I always was before I really knew you, Jeff. And you'd bring Luke around, like, well, I'm not going to curse in front of the kid. But then if you would do it, and then other people were like, well, then it's acceptable.
Right.
And I was fine
True,
with it.
it's 100%.
Gotta
And
feel
one
it
other
out.
thing about Luke is. Just like all you guys, he's engaging, so you don't have to pry words out of his mouth.
You don't
just
get the
ask
yes
him a
and
question,
no's.
He's going to elaborate, and so he's all you guys. It's fun to converse with. 'Cause
I
you
would
know,
agree with that.
It's not a struggle to have a conversation.
Yeah.
I would agree
But
with that.
what were you saying?
Well, no, I was just going to say that your brother Tim, my cousin, he when we would go stay with him for a few days, like up in Pittsburgh, we would go and Jarrett and I were young, like in maybe like 10, 11, 12, and we would stay up with Sam and his sons, and he would just cuss and yell and scream and make us laugh, just be vulgar, and we weren't really used to, like my dad cusses, but not like
no. He
to
took
the
it
degree,
to another level.
and he would just make us laugh, and he would do stuff and just whatever. And as soon as we got in the car to go back home, my dad would always say, whatever he said, whatever happened there, it stays there. Do not tell your mother. And then we would go home, and then we
Good
couldn't wait
advice.
till the next time to do it. But in the Pine Room, I do remember somebody. It kind of became a joke though when he got a little older. Was
when somebody would cuss in front of Luke, they go, "Oh, sorry, Luke."
right.
And then, but even as he got older and everybody cussed anyway, somebody would cuss and go, "Sorry, Luke." Sorry, Luke.
Only if they knew before he came over the power room, I literally motherfucked him.
Right, exactly, you did.
And he was like, "Hey, this is gentle compared to what I'm dealing with across the street. It's all good." Yeah, that's funny.
But no, but because I was that way too, and then so you're cursing in front of him every night. I mean, us as a group, once we knew it was acceptable. But then it's like, well, he has arrived, so he starts cussing. And,
it's true, though,
yes,
man.
yeah.
Without a doubt.
Once he started
he's
dropping
the official
him,
part of the group.
Once he started dropping him, I remember we were on the way to a pitching thing after. It was like one of the last times I ever worked out with him. And he dropped it in the car, and I was like, "Oh, here we go." I was like, "Now he's here. Now he's arrived. He's here."
Arrived.
It's crazy how that becomes, as crazy as this sounds, like a rite of passage.
Yes.
It really does. Like, I remember, like, even dipping my toe in the water with my dad. Obviously, you don't come right off the bat and say fuck. But, like, the shits and the dams, like, the older you get, and then you say that, and your dad either accepts it or doesn't accept it. Like, it is kind of crazy how, I don't know if that's I don't know what the fuck it's called, but I don't know if it's manhood, but it is. It's a rite of passage.
Well,
right?
you're one or two, like, you think about it, like, is your dad's probably thinking, well, I wonder when Jeffrey's going to start cussing. Like, because you're with your buddies and you're growing up in grade school, and then you
The
get into
proud
high
father
school,
moment, right?
Well, I know,
Now that's like we're animals to some extent. Nowadays we're even more animals,
God.
but it's amazing. Like the comparison I can make is you said like a rite of passage. It's like in our DNA of how it's going to work out. It's like salmon swimming back to where they were born, like thousands of miles, and like these turtles that swim 3,700 miles to go lay eggs where they were born. That's our rite of passage as primate males is
vulgar.
Vulgarity.
But and there's a difference between being able to participate in the vulgarity, but when you start it, like to start the conversation that devolves.
Right.
He started one, I can't remember exactly what it was, but when we were in the Pine Room one time, and he said something that was just heinous, and I was like, "Oh shit, here we go!" And guys just were going nuts, and it felt good that there's a new, like, he has adapted now to the level.
New blood.
Like Luke was always really, he's such a polite kid, and he knows when he can say that stuff and when he can't, and he is. When he was a kid, it's like you're talking about a player and he would say like something polite about a guy like that wasn't doing a very good job. Now it's like, fuck that bitch. That guy's a bitch. Like he's like, and I'm like, yeah, you're right, Jub. He's like arrived now. He's like, let it all go.
Do you? And speaking of,
So true.
Speaking of that and the vulgarity and heinous and cussing and that stuff, do you find it odd that people are offended by that? Like, would you ever find yourself being offended by somebody's language? And now, obviously, if you're like in a funeral and if somebody's dropping fuck and shit, which I guess we have been there.
I would never be offended, but I do feel uncomfortable sometimes when I know, like, my mom doesn't care for the language. There's like ladies of more advanced age, polite ladies that don't talk like that. I don't feel comfortable doing that very often. Like, I'll let it slip sometimes with my mom, but I try not to. But if somebody's really, really, like, over the top, and then they get, like, with the sexual stuff, that kind of makes me, but I feel like I know they're not comfortable with it, so I kind of feel uncomfortable.
Yeah,
if you get what I'm saying.
And I guess the situation dictates the language. So, like, if you're in a dining scenario, dining with, like, maybe 4 people that you don't know, like we know each other, but like somebody that's at the table that is vaguely
like a
aware.
business colleague and their wife or something. They can go out and
then
you don't know them well.
Yeah, and somebody starts cracking jokes or like getting to a level that's like, and what always ticks me off is volume. Like once the volume gets to a certain level and it's that kind of vulgarity, then I'm
and you may
out.
notice other people looking over.
Yeah, then but I would never personally if somebody came over, like if somebody came in this room and started dropping like I wouldn't be at all offended.
Same.
At all.
I do think it is, though, very age appropriate. And I don't know if that's 100% fair, but it is. I think it's age appropriate because if Luke was dropping F-bombs at 8 years old, to me, it would be a failure as a parent.
I agree.
Might be a little early.
But
we were know that was like the words you said if you're that young and you're getting your mouth washed out with soap, like back in our day.
Now, here's what I would extend that to. what I don't know don't hurt me. So if by chance Luke was amongst his friends and they thought it was cool because they dropped the F-bomb, whatever, that's out of my control. They all laugh, yeah. But at the end of the day, like if it's in a group setting and all of a sudden my 8, 9-year-old saying "fuck," I'll be honest, I'd have a serious fucking problem.
Especially amongst a group, it's like you're not here yet. You're not at that level. Right. You're not at that level yet. You didn't level up enough. You're not here yet.
You can't skip
fair,
steps, right?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
And I feel weird like swearing in front of my grandma or something. Like Yeah, I mean, I don't think I ever did that. Like, because I wasn't even enough of an age. Now, my dad's mom, I would have been, but it's like there's something inside you. It's like an impulse. You know, like who you shouldn't say that around.
Yeah, like Pauline, when I used to take her to her hair appointments, she never swore. She would say like "damn" every now and then, and that would make her laugh. But I would never ever be like get in the car and just be in a bad mood and go, "This fucking bitch."
Like you're driving. Look at this fucking guy cut me off. Fuck you. And you're yelling out the window.
Yeah.
And Pauline loves it. Maybe
she might have honestly liked it, but I would never do that. And I don't know why that is though. It's just seniority.
It's
I
just
guess.
the way you're raised,
well,
though. Like
respect factor.
Yeah.
And you didn't hear those ladies swearing like that.
Yes.
So like if you had like a grandma or an aunt that cussed a lot, then you would feel a little more. But like we didn't have that. Like cuss words weren't prevalent. Like my parents didn't cuss a whole lot at all.
My parents at all.
And my stuff was all like stuff I was around my buddies, and it's like you get brought, like you said, you're away from adults, and then that gets a little foul, and you're feeling real vindicated by being able to yell "fuck" at your friends.
My dad cusses a lot. Well, he did. He didn't like. He didn't intend. Well, he would in front of us, like when we were little kids. Like if he was watching something or he hit his elbow or something or whatever, he would cuss. Not drop it in casual conversation, but as we get older, then he cusses. My mom didn't cuss for the longest time. She would never say the F word, never say anything. Maybe "damn" every now and then, but she would never. Recently, though, as we're older now, she lets it fly. Now she lets it go.
She's got a lot of fucks to get out of her system. You guys living with you guys,
Because I remember, I think it was the beer mow, and I think we were inside after it was all said and done, and I think she was kind of tuned up. She was having fun. And
she had a great time that day. Yeah. Just to be very clear,
probably the most fun that I've seen her have in a long time.
That's always a welcome factor. But go ahead, Chris. Yes.
And I don't even know what was going on. It could have been something to do with that horse race that got blacked out at the last minute. And I remember her just saying something to the effect like, "Yeah, fuck that motherfucker," or something like that. And I'm like, "That's good job,
See,
man."
I like that though. Like you weren't like, "Oh man, that's not like her." You go, "Yes."
Like,
that excites you. I've been waiting for this. Patty. Where the hell's this been for the last?
So she's got a foul mouth now. She's retired.
Not like she's not like a sailor.
Retirement
now,
brings out the foul mouth.
She'll let it fly every now and then. Like if she gets mad or she's doing something, she'll let it fly. Now
gotta let the stress out.
Or I'll scare, and she'll drop it on me.
Like what the fuck?
Yeah,
son of a bitch.
You fucking. Dessert is an essential part to a quality life, and quality desserts make life all the more better. Had a long day at work and you need something sweet? Maybe you're out late and you need the perfect snack to cap off your evening. Or you're just a dessert lover with a knack for the finest of sweet treats. Well, say hello to the Brownie House, home of the best brownies ever. A family bakery dedicated to baking the world's best gourmet brownies, baked with premium imported chocolate, high-quality ingredients, and no preservatives. No prepackaged, pre-made, fake-tasting chocolate, no. These brownies are made from scratch, shipped nationwide, and delivered right to your door. And starting right now, you can head to yesbrownies.com and use the code PINEROOM, all caps, during checkout to receive 20% off your order. For the best brownies and more, take a trip to the Brownie House.
So I'm going to talk out of both sides of my mouth right now because obviously it's probably one of my most favorite words. And at the end of the day, you do need to know your audience. But do you not agree, and this is where I'm going to talk out of both sides of my mouth, do you not agree that when it's forced, it sounds way worse than if it is just quote-unquote part of Matt's normal Like, I think there's people that try to force it and just to make them, I don't want to use the word, say, make them look cool or sound cool, but
no, you're right.
To me, there's a barrier.
You can kind of tell, too.
And I even thought, like, are we going to, like, when we first started this, and it was pretty much you can say whatever you want, like, or is everybody just going to just start saying fuck because we can?
Because we can, yeah.
But I don't think we really have.
Yeah.
But no, you're right, though, Jeff. I totally agree with that.
Like
if it's forced, then it comes off as, I don't know.
Yeah,
not
not
fake,
genuine,
but
just not a real part of what you're trying to do. You're trying to put on a show, maybe.
Right.
Yeah,
Which we don't have a lot of. We don't have anybody that acts like
I
a
would hope not,
show.
at least,
Like no one really acts outside of their natural selves, especially when we're in.
Yeah,
here.
this is pretty much
I mean, on
it.
the radio,
This is
we
it,
have to
right?
clean ourselves up a tad, so we got to be a little bit more
get that.
wrapped up, but not. Yeah.
If we didn't have to, it'd pretty much just be this. On the
Yeah.
radio.
Not
I mean,
much. It's
other
not
than
much different.
cleaning
No.
the format up, but yeah, I don't know. I think that it's like the amount. Like if you hit above a certain amount of times you say it in a given,
And I would agree.
then you know that something.
Then
Loses its effect.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like, I can't define that. Like, right now, for me to define what you're trying to say, I can't define
Yeah.
that. But if you're in the moment,
You could
You'll
sense
know.
it.
if you're in the moment, like, you feel like, well, what job?
Why are you doing
well,
that?
like, why are you doing that
Yeah.
right now?
Yeah.
It's weird.
Hey, you know what we should do? I think next episode that we're on here is this foursome. I think we should set the record for the amount of fuck said in a show.
I'm on board.
I think we could do it.
Do I need to sign something?
Because I think
contenders.
I think what is cool that I think is really cool about that kind of language is why is that word considered
no
the
sense.
worst of all words?
Doesn't make any sense.
Because
at
it
all.
really is just a word.
It's just a word.
But
Yeah,
if
I
you
agree.
and then
Makes
if
no sense.
if
Like,
if
instead
you,
of saying fuck, if you just said coof, like
yeah,
reverse, like
exactly.
same
maybe,
thing.
Maybe we
Coof.
should.
But I asked that
should.
question
I like
too.
Koofy
I asked that
bitch.
question too, and I know it's obviously it's taboo to say the word, but like words that offend people on racial guidelines and on religious.
It's a good
I mean,
point, Matt.
it's
It's
a
a great
fucking
point.
word,
It's a
and I
fucking
mean,
word.
people raise hell like
Yeah.
it is. You should be nailed to the fucking cross like Jesus. I mean, I'm sorry, that is extreme. I don't think people should be called that. They don't want to be called that. It's totally okay, but you got to calm down a little bit. I mean, it's not. Would you rather be called a word or stabbed? I'm saying the word. I'll be good with that.
I think if it
It's
and
a good
also
point,
because I
man.
think
Really good
I
point.
think like didn't Joe Rogan say it and he was like he got crucified for it for a little
like
bit. Now
way
it didn't
back,
affect
yeah.
him super
Right.
much.
He was so big.
Was it Rogan?
Yeah, because he
Yeah, I
was
think he
saying
did
it,
have
but he
an
wasn't.
N-word slip.
Now I think there's also a difference. If I'm vitriolic and I'm
Calling
using that
someone
to
that-
call
yeah,
somebody
yeah,
that.
That's true.
Now if I'm in a conversation where it's obviously I would never.
What if you're
say it.
singing a song?
But like,
that part
or-
really bothers me.
That's also too. There's a song. Joey Diaz had a good quote. I think it was Puff Daddy. I think has a song that has that word as the title. It's in the title of the song.
Is
So
it
if-
end with an A or an R?
I think A.
Okay.
But either way,
From my understanding,
it's in
that's
the-
different too, right?
Either,
Yeah, go ahead.
Either
Apparently.
way, it's in the title of the song. So saying, I mean, I don't know how you'd go about saying the name of the song if that's what you want to do. But anyway, my point of what I was saying, I think he was saying it in a context of like just bringing the word up in conversation, like as far as what it meant and what the meaning is behind it. Whereas I think it's totally. I'm not going to say it either way, but
Yeah, no.
but
I'm not condoning people that
No.
do because it's obviously a problem. But go ahead.
But like in I don't know how it could ever be used. Well, here's another point. How like it's used in movies and stuff. Like in Django Unchained, Leonardo DiCaprio says it like 1,000 times. Like I don't know how that's not taken out of.
I know. I wondered that too. Like,
But
are
it's-
they mad at the actors that say that in
don't
movies
know.
when you're trying to go back to historical pieces where they did talk like that to people and they degraded people, which isn't right, but that's the way the world was. And,
It is-
And
it
for
is.
you to do that and go into character, to me, it's not any different than me reading lyrics of a song and then I'm fired from my job because I did.
I guess if we had a word that was like used on us in a scenario like that was like
What
derogatory.
word could get you that upset?
I don't know, but I don't know. I'm trying to think of anything that could be called. Literally nothing that could be called.
I'll be honest with you. I'll take it one step further. I've been a big dude my whole life. We just got done talking about heads.
Yep.
Heads.
Yeah.
I'm a big headed. I've been a big dude my whole life. Like it would literally, like if somebody came up and said, "Doyle, you're a fat fuck. You got a big head." Like there would be nothing that would literally like make me crumble make me so. And I understand that.
Pull out your piece.
Yeah, and that's not fair because I know people look at derogatory in different ways and different aspects, and I think negative connotations. It's horrible. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're set off to say words to purposefully hurt somebody,
right.
that's a fucking totally different ball game. But to allow a word and you let somebody else's words hurt you, to me, in my opinion, that's just fucking dumb.
The whole body shaming thing now is ridiculous. Now it's off the chain.
Meaning, as in
like people that are like Miss America, and
two of them step down.
If I'm a bigger guy, I'm way more overweight than I should be. I can accept that, and you know why I'm that way? Because I like to eat. And I don't like to work out.
Same.
Like
same problem I got.
I don't have.
Thank God we're all of advanced height. It'd be even worse.
I don't have a
short fat fuck.
I don't have a disorder. I don't have a health problem. Well, I do have several health problems not related to my weight. Could be, but Jesus. I don't think it.
You're a fucking man.
He's the youngest one of us here.
I do. I mean, I don't know what they are, but I have problems. But I don't think you should be able to, as a person that is overweight, unless it's, which I think is like a 1% of people that are overweight actually have some sort of medical condition that makes them that way.
And it's true, 100%.
I don't think
the other 89% are just fat.
I don't think you should be able to be upset for being disqualified from positions such as Miss America, Miss America was like, this year, she was a very heavy-set woman who was larger. Like, she got crowned Miss America. I don't know what the ruling is on Miss America and how that's judged. I don't know how it's judged on how you're perceived or whatever. But people were like, mad because it hasn't happened before that people that are overweight should be Miss America or on the cover of like. Some model magazine.
Right.
Exactly.
But don't you feel like it's forced now, though?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's
if it was natural, okay.
Like,
I would agree.
But you shouldn't be in that position. Just, number one, there are two sides of that coin. You shouldn't be in that position because people feel bad for you, and you should be in that position because you're alienated. Two, you shouldn't be able to complain for being alienated from positions that are supposed to be the peak of human form. Like men's fitness. I'm not on the cover of Men's Fitness, and I never should be because I'm not the peak of male stature. But I guarantee you, there are people that are upset because they're not on the cover of Men's Fitness, and they don't look like Mr. America. Mm-hmm. And I don't understand that. I don't think
there you go back to the self-awareness.
Here's another point.
Well said.
There was a woman that was really upset on a plane because she was massively overweight. Which, fine, if that's the way you want to live, if you want to eat and not do anything, I'm cool with it because I like to eat. I don't like to work out, so I'm.
But you're not on my 600-pound.
That is true, right? But she sued the airline because the seat wasn't big enough. Which
off,
I don't
man.
think. To me,
right.
I just don't think that that's fair to be able to do because you put yourself in that situation. And now, if you want to be in that, and I'm sure I'll get some hate for this, and I don't really care.
Bring it on.
I'm overweight, and I can be in that part. But Ricky Gervais made a good point. Why does my bag have to be 50 pounds? And I'm 220 pounds. Why does my bag have to be 50 pounds when a guy that's 300 pounds has a bag that's the same weight? So now he's 300 pounds plus a 50-pound bag.
Yeah.
My 220 pounds plus a 50-pound bag is only 280 pounds.
Right.
So I should be able to go all the way up to the weight of the heaviest guy on board.
That's a good point, man. I never even thought about that. Wow. That would cause a fucking shit show, though, if that starts happening.
Oh,
Good luck with that.
But anyway, if you're overweight, I don't hate you.
Well, and that's why I wouldn't, like, I need to lose weight if I choose to. So if people are going to make fun of me or something, that's on me. It'd be different like if I was born without a hand and people are making fun of that. I had no control over that.
Right.
But I can.
But if you eat yourself into
and then you're making fun of me or just making fun of fat people, I can do something about not looking that way if I choose to. But
don't you guys feel like
point, Chris.
That like fat people are the only, and not even fat people, like chubby, little overweight, are the most made fun of group now? Don't you think? I mean, they're the only people left you can make fun of on TV. You can't make fun of anybody else.
Which I guess kind of goes to
except
what
white
Chris is
straight
saying.
males. They would be close
which I
second.
Think which goes to what Chris is saying is
dying
that's
breed.
Like that's an active status that you have a hand in altering.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, you can't really, I mean, Michael Jackson did it, but you can't really alter your skin color. You can't really alter, like, what else can you alter that people make fun of? Like,
You can, I guess, if you want to take away wrinkles or
Yeah.
that
like
kind of stuff.
being
but-
bald,
Yeah.
like that you can't really. I mean, I guess you could if you want to.
You can't do anything about being short.
Yeah, that's
Or, like,
another thing. Yeah.
Or if you were born handicapped, there's nothing you could do about
Yeah,
that.
right.
You shouldn't get made fun of for that.
Yeah. So I guess the only thing that
But
is
if you're
there.
a fat pig, and I'm telling you, every one of us in here likes to eat. I'm not condoning.
sign me
I'm
up.
not even condoning being average weight. But if you let yourself go to where you're bedridden and you get bed sores and they got to use a forklift to get you out of the house, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You took a couple extra bags of Doritos that you didn't
Yeah.
need. Like
My dad pokes my belly, and I will be the first one to say that I am the way I am because the way I am.
How
But
much would you have to eat to be able to get to where you're
That-
morbidly, sickly obese?
Wouldn't you get to the point where,
Gross.
like,
It's fucking gross.
I
I'm
guess
gonna be
there's
honest with you, it's
I guess
gross.
there's like a dichotomy there. So you would get to, like, say I'm 220 right now. If I got to like 450,
Try
you could either say okay, I'm going to go the other way, or I don't care anymore. I'm going to go
You're going down with the ship, huh?
go down with
And
the
I'm
ship.
gonna be honest, and I love you to death, but if you think your face is round now, can you?
You would be unrecognizable.
You'd be-
We would be able
You'd
to
look
see.
like Brendan Fraser
And
in
I
that
mean that
movie,
with
The
all due
Whale.
respect.
But
You know?
no, but again,
How much would you have to let yourself go to get to that? How could any of us? I mean,
Well,
I
it's
know.
doubling
It's
your weight.
gross, man.
I don't
It
know
really
how
is. It's
overly
gross.
active any of us are right in this room right here, but I'm going to tell you this: how much would we have to eat and continue to have a caloric intake to where we would be able to gain
All
that
right,
much weight?
how
So what,
big?
so what would you do? Just eat, not do?
I mean,
a
you
thing?
must not even
Just-
move.
Well,
And I mean, like eating, like you're eating an entire carton of ice cream like
And then
3 times
a
a day,
bunch of
and,
pop
and you
and
order
bunch
like
of
6
sugar.
value meals at McDonald's.
Sumo
and
wrestlers-
I don't even know how you could do it.
Sumo wrestlers famously, they'd have 3 dinners a day, and then after each meal they would take a nap because it wouldn't burn anything. It'd be
Right.
your body goes into like storage mode. So they would eat and then immediately go take a nap, get up, eat again, take a nap. And that's which. Again, I don't have a problem with people being overweight. I don't have a problem with it at all. I think I
That's
think
your
it adds
choice.
you character. I think you're your own person. I think and to me, and this is another definite side of that coin. Have you ever known anybody that has been overweight and that's the way you know them, and then they lose weight and then all of a sudden they're different? There's a guy on YouTube named Boogie2988 who was massively overweight. He was humongous. He was like 600 some pounds, huge. He lost weight, got double bypass, or no, what's it called? Triple
gastric.
what's
Gastric bypass,
not
yeah.
double bypass. That's heart.
That's
shit.
hard, yeah.
Gastric
Hey,
bypass.
on their way though.
Yes,
On their way.
gastric
That
bypass.
might be all together. At some point.
Lost like 400 pounds. He's like 280, 300 pounds now, but he's skinny now. And he used to make funny videos because he was fat, and now he doesn't, and he's a totally different person, and he has lost a lot of the fame and energy that he had. So I think there are some people that are meant to be, maybe not meant to be, but that's just kind of how people were. Like, if you're big, like I'm a big guy, to me, this is, if I want to lose weight and I want to be healthy, I could probably maintain it for a little while. But I think my end goal is probably like this right here. This is probably my
You
end
act
goal.
like you're 600.
Well, but
fucking
I'm saying I'm like, if I'm probably, I'd say probably 30 pounds overweight. I'd probably say 30 pounds.
Okay.
But like, that's probably as far as I would go. This is probably as far as I would go, and I don't want to really lose weight, and I'm not in the mood. I mean, I would like to lose weight, but I'm.
I mean, you feel like if you go on vacation, well, I actually lose weight when I'm on vacation
Me
because I
too.
eat better and I'm a lot more active because I'm not sitting at my desk and I'm not like sitting in here.
Yeah.
Like I'm out and about a little bit more. But like you know when you start to feel like I'm bloated, like I'm getting like too. Like, we're all a little over, okay, but, like, not to the point. Like, you start to know, like, what you're saying. You can only take it so far, and then you're like, fuck, I gotta reel myself in a little bit. But, yeah, it's...
So, the John Brower Minock, he was born in 1941, lived to 83, so he's 42 and he died. How heavy do you think John Brower Minock got to be at his heaviest weight?
792.
I was going to say
Where did do you know where John Minock was from?
Let's see.
I bet he's from the South.
Mississippi.
John Minock,
That's probably a fair question.
Seattle, Washington.
Oh, wow, that surprised me a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's kind of crazy.
Okay, so you 7 what?
792.
I said 720.
I'm going to go 860.
Well, you guys should have doubled your numbers because he was
geez.
1,400
That's
pounds.
crazy.
He was 1,400 pounds at his peak. He was recorded as the heaviest man in history. Do you know what his occupation was?
Computer
Gym
IT.
teacher.
IT.
He was a taxi driver.
Oh,
That's the whole seat had to be going
Wait,
in
he
front.
just died?
He died in 19...
I thought you said he was born.
1983. He was born in 1941. He was,
I
yes.
thought you said he lived to be 83. Died in 83.
They say his normal weight, other than his peak, his normal weight was 800 to 900 pounds.
Normal weight.
His normal weight.
I feel all right
He owned
now.
a taxi company and worked as a driver around his home. And he had 2 spouses, which is phenomenal to me. Carolyn G. McCardle and Shirley Ann Griffin.
were they conjoined twins?
No, he divorced one
Did
of
he
them.
eat one of them?
He divorced one of them. In an attempt to lose weight, Minock went on a 600 calorie per day diet
Oh my
under
God.
doctor's orders.
That'd be hard for me to do.
That's hard to
Man,
do.
That's tough.
600.
That's tough.
As a result, Minock was bedridden for about 3 weeks before finally agreeing to go to the hospital in March 1978.
Wait, back up. He became bedridden when he went on his diet,
Yes.
but he wasn't bedridden before.
No, he had no energy. It says
He had fat stores. He ought to have been able to go out and run a marathon or
He
walk
should
a
be
marathon.
it says he went to the hospital in 1978. It took over a dozen
And he died in
firefighters.
83.
Yeah, it took over a dozen firefighters to transport him to the University of Washington Medical Center in Seattle.
Real quick, what if you were on that fireman team? Like, how irritated
God.
are you at this
Pissed
point?
off.
So he said
Pissed
said
off.
that doctors diagnosed Minock with massive edema, which is like when your legs get super big. And an endocrinologist estimated his weight at the time to be 1,400 pounds.
How much you think Unkar Plutt weighed in Star Wars?
I'd say close.
Like, he had that
real
edema.
close. And then, after around 2 years in the hospital, he lost over 900 pounds, which put him at 600 pounds. So he lost 900,
weight,
Jeez.
man.
got to 600 pounds. It's the largest documented human weight loss of all
He
time.
turned anorexic. It's crazy.
After leaving the hospital, Minock regained much of the weight and died in September 1983.
So he was 42?
See what happened? He fucking loses weight and he dies.
He was weighing. He
It's an
weighed.
unhealthy lifestyle.
He weighed nearly 800 pounds at the time of his death, and the casket took up 2 burial spots at Mount Pleasant Cemetery in Seattle.
Who the hell were his pallbearers? Crazy. Kurt Angle and
Mark Henry.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the 12 bastards from the fire department.
Yeah.
Well, probably like 8 of those guys had to file for workman's comp after that day.
So he claimed that he said he had a body fat percentage of 80%.
Oh, God.
80%.
And said that the reason he was so big was because of water retention.
Oh.
Jesus Christ.
He said British obesity specialist David Haslam contends Minock's water retention was a consequence of his severe weight, not the cause of it.
How much water, if you wrang them out dry, how many gallon jugs would you fill?
It said
Phil
that
Doyle's pool.
it said that he lived a conventional life. He stated he was in no way handicapped, and he attended Bothell High School and drove water taxis for 17 years. They operated a taxi company together with his wife, and then he actually had the reputation of a warm and funny family man. And then
I don't understand how he got around, how he was able to move at that weight.
he said in March 1978, Minock weighed 12 times his 110-pound wife, breaking the record for the greatest weight disparity between a married couple.
You know, if he wanted to kill her, he could just roll over in bed on her and suffocate her.
What's fun? I'm glad
That'd
you
be
said
great.
that.
Maybe his arm would kill her. Like
Yeah.
Job, I'm glad you said he was known as a what was the
Warm, funny family man.
Because here's going to be my question to you, and I don't want to make this cookie cutter. How many truly heavy people that you have met throughout your life are dicks?
Not a lot.
Not a lot.
Not many.
Not many, because at the end of the day, unfortunately, they're very self-conscious.
Usually jolly fellows.
They want to be liked because obviously they're a little self-conscious of their image and stuff. There's not many heavy people that are fucking those dickheads we talk about all the time I don't want to make a cookie cutter, but
which I do feel, because I keep referencing myself. Like, I know I'm self-conscious the way I look. Like, if I would go out, the way out to the beach or something. So I can't imagine what other people like that are of severe
You think he spent
weight.
much time at the beach?
Probably not. Probably not.
He went in the water.
And like, I know what it's like to not be able to control myself when it comes to eating. Like, if I get into a scenario where I get on a roll, I'll eat. There have been times in my life where I go downstairs late at night and it'll go from shelf.
Let me ask you this question: what's the highest intake of calories you think you did in one day?
Ooh.
Ever?
Ooh.
I don't have a definitive on this, but I'm gonna probably vote 4,000 to 5,000.
That's what I was gonna say.
4,000 to 5,000 is probably fair.
Yeah.
And it was probably a gross day. I guarantee the next day I woke up and probably felt like complete dog shit.
Right.
Like, I can picture like a day where you were hungover, you went and got greasy breakfast, and then you still felt like shit, and you ate a terrible lunch, a terrible dinner, and ate dessert. And
What do you
that
think,
was-
Matt?
I'd say between 5,000 and 6,000. I've had days where I've not been healthy, and you put booze in there with it,
Yeah.
because I'm actually extremely fortunate to be 6'4", because if I wasn't, I'd probably be dead. No, not that bad. Because there are points in my life where I go through healthy stretches. Like, I eat healthy on a regular basis, but when I go over the line, like Jub said, once you start to get that downward momentum, and you're like, all right, I got a 20-piece nugget here.
Who gives a
I'm
fuck?
getting a large fry. I'm getting
Yeah.
a fucking shake.
Yes.
And I don't really give a fuck. I'll worry about it tomorrow.
Yeah.
And that's like the wheels, the gloves are off. You're ready to go. It's just you just
My
do it.
portion control is horrific too.
Yeah.
Like, I'll go to the drive-through and I'll just get a 10-piece, and then I get to the window.
Well, I might
I
be
get a
hungry,
20-piece.
though.
Give me 2 plain burgers, and I'll give me
and 2.
extra barbecue sauce.
You're afraid you don't get enough.
And then I'll go eat it like an animal in the parking lot, like a raccoon that just found.
How
you think
fast
Go
could
ahead.
you eat? No, how fast could you eat that?
Like
He'd do it
3
pretty
minutes.
quick.
Yeah, I would
Hey,
say.
it's-
I would be on. It's
sorry,
got to
no,
be
you're
crazy.
No, I was going to say, is
I-
that a sign of gluttony? Because I often think that
Eating quick.
no,
Or just
eating.
Volume.
So for instance, you go to McDonald's, you order a value meal, which I'm not condoning, but if you want to do it,
I will
because I
condone
do
it.
it. I mean,
I'll
I love it.
condone it.
I love it, but it's not good for me. But then you're like, well, that's not enough. I got to get a burger. I
Yeah.
got to get this. So is that gluttony? Because I feel like I definitely am guilty of gluttony. If that's a 7 deadly sin, I do it, and I don't want to, but I'm like,
would
I'm
say
not,
yes.
I'm not going to be full,
And-
even though I will be. There's in my mind, I should be able to say that's enough. I'm not going to die. I'll be fine.
And that happens to me when I go to a new restaurant or something, because I won't know what to pick. And instead of just saying, okay, I'm going to get this, I go, well, what if I like something else? So I'll get this and an appetizer and maybe another appetizer, just so I can make sure I hit all my marks here. But like, I don't need any of it. And I just get it because I want to get it because it sounds good. But
It's a bad
Well,
habit I have.
and then do you? Because I've done what you've done
Yeah.
too. Get a value meal or something. Then in addition to,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
and then I get
Just in
maybe
case.
halfway through. I'm like, why in the fuck
Why did I get
get?
this?
Why did I get this extra? I mean,
That usually doesn't happen that much to
Yeah,
me,
it
but I
doesn't
can see it
happen to
happen.
me.
But
It's
yeah,
like,
but
I
I
don't
but
need
I'm
this.
still I didn't ever need the extra thing. I never did.
Have you ever, Matt, gone, because now I don't do that where I'll get halfway through and I'll go, why did I get all this? I'll get to the end of my food and I'll go, that sure was good, but that was a bad idea. I shouldn't have done that. Like,
Yeah,
I shouldn't have eaten that.
Actually, I'll man up right now and tell you last night that happened to me.
What'd you get?
Well, here's the deal. So 2 nights ago, so our obviously we're on vacation right now, and usually when we're away on vacation, we eat out every night. So we're doing summer meals right now, quote unquote. So the last 2 nights we've done burgers and corn on the cob.
Okay.
All right. So 2 nights ago, had and this is probably a wifey problem too. So I'm going to throw a shade that way.
And
too.
she's here.
Yeah.
She's
on the
here.
premises.
She probably can hear us
Yeah, let's
right
go
now.
get her in a brain. Let her explain herself.
Yeah.
So real quick, so made burgers and corn, and she asked how many burgers I wanted. I said 2.
Yeah,
I
good
ate,
number.
I ate the 2 burgers, but I think it was 3 ears of corn. Okay, and
it's
at
so
the,
good.
At the end of that meal, I was fucking just a miserable fucking prick and a glutton. Everything you talk about, I'm having inner talks with myself. You fat fuck! I can't. Why in the fuck did you do that? Blah blah blah. So the next night we had back to back the same meals, made some burgers, and I said, hey, do me a favor. Miserable last night. Make me 1 burger, and I'll just eat the corn tonight.
Right.
And she's like, you know what? I'll make you 2. If you don't eat it, it's not a big deal.
But it's there, Jeff.
The problem was Jeff
there.
Doyle, who's a glutton,
Yep.
can't pull myself away. So last night I was deuces. Fucking same thing. Felt miserable. Had
Bloated.
2 burgers with
Yeah.
Just dumb though. It's like I didn't need it.
No need.
Did it have any effect, or did it matter because you're on vacation?
Without a doubt, it is. Without a doubt, I think that there is a different mindset.
But
right?
Jeff,
Yes.
let me ask you this: did it taste good?
Here's the deal. Without a doubt, I don't regret my decision today.
Right.
Exactly.
Nor should you.
Exactly.
Nor should you.
See, that's my problem. I get on my mom and dad about this because they bring home sweets and things and like little treats that they sit on the counter. The fact that it's there is what gets me.
Got to keep it out of the house.
My mom gets this angel food cake that's in like one of those bundt cake shapes,
Yep.
and from Respecs, and she'll bring it home and sit it on the counter. And I'll come downstairs and maybe get a water or get like just something, or get take my medicine or something or whatever. And I'll come downstairs and there's the cake sitting on the table, and I'll just go,
talking
you know
to
what?
you.
It's going, hey, come on, just a little piece. And then I'll go over and I'll take one and I'll take a little pop. But then I had to go get water. So then I'm like, oh, that took me a little bit of time. My hands are clean now. Let's get one more. So then I go another one. And I can't help myself. If it's there and I know it's there, I'm in trouble. Even if it's in a drawer or a cabinet or something, and I had it.
Yep.
My mom bought chocolate chips. We were going to make s'mores pizza because we got that pizza maker, the pizza oven thing. So we were going to make a dessert pizza. And the other night I was like, man, chocolate sounds good. Chocolate sounds real good. And then I went downstairs, no chocolate in the house. It's like, okay, I didn't get my chocolate fill. Next day, she brings chocolate chips home. They're in there now. And I can hear
they're there.
Like
it's like the telltale heart.
Scratching under the floor.
It's like the Edgar Allan Poe. It's coming up from under.
And then I go downstairs and I do one handful. And then I turn around and get my waters, get ready to go up. Hands are clean. Let's get another one. Go pop one, go upstairs. Then I'm like, why did I just do that? Why did I do that? But, man, it tastes good.
I bet it did taste good, but we talked about this several shows ago about drunk food and stuff like that. Remember, I think you were on there. I think you may have been here, and obviously you were here, but there would have been a fifth. Remember, we talked about when you're drunk.
Oh, yeah.
And then we talked about, from a standpoint, what would you wash it down with? Okay, this is where I would be completely different. What you just got done explaining, it would be fucking gross to me that I either ate angel food cake and I grabbed chocolate and washed it down with the water.
You don't like that?
I'll be honest with you. And I don't mind water.
You think that's gross?
I'll be honest with you, because it would have to be something flavored.
Like a flavor to get rid of it?
If I had that, I'd probably be skinnier. Because at the end of the day, like I wouldn't want it as bad. But when I wash it down with a Sprite or a Propel, like to me, it hits completely different.
Boy, I'll tell you
Weirdo alert?
No.
I'm the same way.
Because if
I get a sweet, I want something that's not a water. Like, and I drink tons. That's all I drink. But if I eat the sweet or the certain food, that triggers the need for that drink.
Well, you're right, because I remember commenting on that.
All right, this show's about ready to end. Thanks for everything.
Right.
But I had something recently. It might have been something for dinner. It wasn't breakfast and it wasn't sweets, and I didn't want water and I didn't have any iced tea, so I drank orange juice. I just needed something flavored.
Something different.
Yep.
I did. I just couldn't do it with water.
I have felt like that before. I felt like I need some kind of flavor, but I thank God that I actually like water, because my dad hates water. Hannah hates water because it's boring. I thank God I like water, because if I didn't like water and all I drank was like Diet Pop and juice, I'd be probably 50 more pounds heavier, because my dad there's zero sugar root beer now that they sell at Kroger.
Oh, Luke loves that shit.
Dude, I pound that stuff like I
Zero
can't.
sugar root beer.
I tried to look for. I tried to look for a keg
It's just a diet, though, right? It's just a diet.
It's
pop.
just a diet pop, yeah. But it just feels like even diet feels like it's curdling my blood. Like it feels like.
Well, who knows what those things, the sweeteners they put in that shit's going to do to us
and
down the road.
That's what I always say to Jarrett. There's no way it can be good for you.
I don't think it's good for you. I just think it keeps that artificial sugar and the fructose syrup out of your bloodstream, which is a problem. That you're right. If you just drank sodas and stuff, that'll blow you up faster than the food that you eat.
Well, if you talk to anybody that's in the know, hands down, both are horrible for you. But the path of least resistance is still diet.
True.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
And if I drank regular pop, I'd have diabetes. No doubt. No doubt I'd have diabetes.
You had a case of the diabetes.
Yeah, no doubt I would have diabetes.
Wilford Brimley.
Yeah.
But God.
But again, back to what Jeff was saying earlier about mental. It really all is.
It's
all
truly
is.
all mental.
Except I will say that the physical dependence on the sugar, if you go heavy on the sugar, the headaches that I get, I've told you guys that before, are fucking scary. Like it's the closest thing that I can assimilate to or associate. Assimilate was the wrong word. Associate with a drug addict. Like,
100%.
That withdrawal. If I would like go to my parents who always have sweets, which is terrible, I try to not tell them not to have them. If I eat a lot of sugar, the next day I have a splitting headache because my body wants it so bad, and I know that, and it's a terrible feeling. And I sympathize with those meth heads and stuff. It's got to be awful to get off of it.
I mean, I'm 100% addicted to like just the act of eating, because I'll go downstairs and I try to eat when I'm hungry, but there'll just be times I'll be sitting watching something and I'll go, man, something would sound pretty good right now.
Having a house full of food is dangerous.
I'll eat when I'm bored, out of boredom.
Exactly.
Like I'll eat dinner at say 5:30, and then 3-4 innings into the Pirate game, well, you know what? I just bought a new can of cashews. I'll eat half that.
Yeah,
or I got some sweets, and I'm not hungry.
It's true though.
I'm not.
So I started doing a thing now. We use paper plates at home instead of like regular plates, unless we're having like an actual sit down meal. So I will do a thing now where I'll pour a little bit of chips on a plate, so I don't take the whole bag with me. But now what I do now is I go downstairs and I open the thing. We get these Dots pretzels. You ever have them?
Oh, they're great.
Unbelievable.
Dude,
we get the honey mustard one.
Oh my god, that's crack, dude.
So I'd put them on a plate.
You're right about that.
I'd
You
put
start
it on
them,
a
and you're gonna
plate,
finish them.
And I put on a little bit on a plate, and I go, man, that's good. And of course, I put more than I should. But then I look up, and there's Cool Ranch Doritos right there, and I go, that'd be pretty good to have those too. And then I'd put those on the plate. And by the end of the thing, I got 3 things of chips on my plate, and I go upstairs, and it's stacked like.
Oh my goodness,
it's horrible.
See, I'm gonna blame your parents for all this. They're putting you through this shit.
Yeah,
Stop buying that stuff.
Yeah, Dad.
Yeah. God damn it, Mark Del.
What if you opened it up and there's all that was in the house was some fruit?
And I feel like I'd definitely be healthier, but then again, I would probably
take definitely out of it. You
would be, yeah. Have you ever been to? Have you? What's worse than going to the store on an empty stomach? On a grocery store on an empty stomach. You ever done that before?
Oh, it's horrible.
It's the worst thing in the world.
You're going to buy everything.
Everything sounds good.
You're going to go broke real quick, too.
When I go to the gas station, I can't just buy one snack. I got to balance my palate. So I got to have a salty, sweet, and a sour.
Yep.
I'm horrible.
No, I don't know about that. You know what? Once again, you accept
I'm a
who
glutton.
you are.
We're all human.
Yep.
We all have major
I think it's
issues.
different.
We're all going to die.
We're all going to die. But at the end of the day, as long as you are, if you can maintain, actually, Bert Kreischer, this is going to be a crazy reference. He always said he loves to drink. And the fact of the matter, he's always going to be able to try to do as much as he can to stay healthy, that he can always balance the alcohol with his life. At the end of the day, it's different. I know you keep on saying that you're some fat fuck. You're the
I know. That's not what I'm saying.
But I want to get at
But I'm overweight.
Oh, that's fair. And so am I. I think we all are in this room. We all could lose a couple pounds. But as long as there's some sort of balance in life, that if you maybe are a little bit extra weight, but you still have the good blood work or whatever the case might be, to me, that's called balance. So that's not a horrible thing. Would you like... I know I would like my appearance a little bit different if I took my shirt off or whatever, but it's never going to fucking happen. It is what it is. So at the end of the day, as long as my numbers come back good and I'm a little bit overweight, to me, that's called balance.
A man's got to know his limitations, like Dirty Harry.
Here's the deal. As much as Mark Delbrook wants me to take my shirt off when I'm cutting the front grass, it's not going to happen.
Yeah. And I think it comes down to being happy. Like, I don't want to go to some smokehouse barbecue and get a fucking chicken sandwich and just have that. No. I want a rack of ribs and baked beans and corn on the cob. I want to. Speak of corn, though, corn this season's been unreal.
I'll be honest with you. We had so I was able to.
Where are you guys buying this corn at?
Well, and if you guys want me to bring some home, let me know. I've been with my travel a little bit the last couple weeks, work wise and baseball wise. Down in Marietta a good bit.
Oh, yeah.
And then also...
Where do you go, Witten's?
I don't know.
If you go down there...
I don't even know what it's called, Chris, to be honest
There's one that's Witten's,
and then
there's one
that's I'll reimburse you.
Not even worried about that. But and also went to Morgantown this past weekend for a tournament. There was a roadside there.
Oh, yeah.
Those are good.
Yes, good stuff. So,
Chris, you ought to be able to find some when you go back to Ocean City. They'll be heavy out there on the side country roads on the way in. You'll get good corn late July.
Man,
you'll be in good
shape. And there's a feel to those types of places too. There's a feel, and the appreciation those people have on you fucking buying their shit makes you want to go back 10 more fucking times.
Because those people are putting the blood, sweat, and tears into
they're
getting that out there,
planting the seeds, taking care of it all.
That's what it's all about.
That's awesome.
Boy. So here's the deal. The best part about this whole time, I truly came prepared for this podcast. And listen to me, though. And I think at the end of the day, I'm going to throw up on us for 1 second. I think the testament to a good podcast is when you come in prepared and you have things to talk about. We didn't talk about one of those motherfucking things, right?
Yeah.
I think that's actually kind of cool, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh,
so here's the deal. I'm going to end it right now. Are you guys good?
That's
Yes.
fine with me.
Yes.
You got a place to be.
Yeah, it's not even about that.
No,
honestly.
no, but
I think it's
Cheryl's here.
perfect
I want to
time.
say thank you to Cheryl for always providing food up at the Pine Room and just
I'm
being
ready for those meatballs.
being
Talk
a
about
breath-
eating.
Oh,
being
geez.
a great neighbor. I always hello, how are you? She's she's a great figure to look up to, especially as a kid, and I'm glad she comes down here and hangs out.
Well, you know what? And I love you for that because you know how much I love my wife. Thank you for that very much. So, honestly, for episode 115, for Jub Delbrook, Chris Pavlik, Matthew Watson, thank you all for your support. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys have a wonderful day.
Woo!
Good night.